Calgary's most recognized morning news personalities.
The Morning News with Gord Gillies and Sue Deyell on 770 CHQR.
11, time to check in with, on International Women's Day, the Premier of the province, Rachel Notley, who joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Premier Notley.
Good morning.
What does this day mean to you?
Well, you know, it's a really important day. It's an opportunity to think about the gains that we've made over the last many years, and it's also an opportunity for people to really get together and talk about what's left to be done, and then to celebrate both. And I think it's very worthwhile. It's really important, and it's a good day.
Premier, you've spoken about how your father, Grant Notley, who was a politician, talked about women's rights in the early 70s, but was your mom your inspiration?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mom, I learned so much from my mom. She was around because my dad, of course, we were 6 hours north of Edmonton. So my mom was such an incredible part of our life. And you know, she was an incredible, she was a social justice activist. But what I learned from her is, you know, if she had a strong opinion, she would just march into a room. It didn't matter how many people in that room was with her or not. And oftentimes I would see her march in with her teeth gritted, with a very strong position on a thing, and just to have a very take no prisoners attitude. And as an adolescent in a small town, you can imagine I sometimes found that a bit embarrassing, but when I got a little bit older, I realized that it was a tremendous example. I'm
looking at the most recent picture of the other premiers, and it's you and a bunch of guys, and I'm wondering, there's a ways to go here. Do you feel you have to carry the banner for women when you do your job?
It's not so much about carrying the banner, but it is about keeping my eye on the fact that we have a lot left to do to make sure that there is true equality for women in our society. And I think that picture is a very clear reminder of that fact. You know, I mean, you know, just yesterday we saw Jason Kenney sort of casually make remarks that, quite frankly, revealed inadvertently an incredible level of condescension about women in politics. And I think that, politics isn't the only forum where women need to be more represented by any means. But because we are decision makers, it's really critical that we have more women in that place. And but we know that it's really, there's work to be done throughout society. And, you only need to take a passing look at statistics on a whole number of different levels to know that we have more work to do. And so as the only woman premier, it's not about just sort of carrying the flag. It's about finding ways to get more women involved by just creating a fair society for all of us to live in.
That comments he's getting roasted on. You had a pretty good shot at him on Twitter. But it was at an announcement for the UCP looking to help bring in more protections for women from domestic violence. And that's a really good thing.
Well, it is, but to be clear, when our government brought in supplementary budget allocations to give more money to societies and groups that help support women who are victims of domestic violence, the UCP voted against it. When our government brought in legislation to protect women from harassment, when they were trying to exercise their reproductive health rights, the UCP did an unprecedented thing, got up and walked out of the House 13 times because not only did they not want to vote on it, they said it wasn't a relevant issue. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You need to not just talk the talk, but walk the talk. And quite frankly, they haven't.
There have been some awful things said about you, and we've seen a lot of it on social media. So why would you promote women getting into the political arena? Why is it important to get more women into politics?
Well, I think the first woman lawyer had a tough go of it. The first woman doctor had a tough go of it. The first woman pipe fitter had a tough go of it. And the reality is that we need to make sure that we have a society that embraces and that provides equal opportunity for all members. And so the way to do that is to take your place in that society. And so, and the work that I can do is to try and do whatever I can to make sure that it's not a fight to take your place, but an opportunity to take your place. And I think there's a lot of people that are with me on that idea.
You're trying to protect and get to Alberta jobs. You took a shot at the Prime Minister yesterday over SNC-Lavalin and the 9,000 jobs and lamented the more than 100,000 we've lost here. Has he dropped the ball on this one?
Well, I think that, I don't have a problem with anyone sticking up for jobs for SNC-Lavalin in Quebec or anywhere else. I mean, I think half the SNC-Lavalin jobs are not actually in Quebec. But what I want is to see the same level of attention and the perspective that the challenges that we are facing in Alberta deserve. I mean, the irony of this whole thing is that the biggest threat to SNC-Lavalin jobs is probably not the prosecution that is the subject of everybody's attention in Ottawa right now, but the state of Alberta's energy industry, quite honestly. And so what we need is for everybody to have perspective and to understand how important it is that the whole country get behind supporting Alberta in getting our product to Tidewater and helping our energy industry diversify and recover so that it can continue to drive the whole economy.
On that file, I'm worried about Ed Whittingham being added to the Alberta Energy Regulator, like a lot of Albertans are. It seems like this is a fox in the henhouse.
No, that's not really the case with Ed. I mean, Ed's background, honestly, is one of being a very thoughtful person who works very collaboratively with a number of people in the oil and gas industry. I think he probably has more people supporting him from within the oil and gas industry than from without. He absolutely brings the perspective of protecting the environment to the table, but he has a long record of working in a very collaborative sort of solution-focused way with people in the energy industry. So I think he brings exactly the right tone to the job.
Premier, you've got a great platform here. People are listening. Is there any announcement that you would like to make right now? A date, perhaps, you'd like to just
April
throw
15th?
out? Anything
April
going
15th?
on?
I'll say that one thing I will be talking about later today that is related to the election is that once again, we're very proud that the team of candidates that we will be putting forward to Albertans in the next election will consist of over 50% women. And I think that's a nice thing to be able to talk about on International Women's Day.
Premier Rachel Notley, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Happy International Women's Day to you.